Coming early. I kind of missed everybody last week. It's been a little too long these 2 weeks. But anyway. Hey, what's up? It's Jim. This is Movie Crap. Am I coming through? It looks like on one thing I am. But am I? I can see me on one of the things. Huh. Oh, my... Okay, I can see... YouTube's being funny, but I can see everyone clearly sees me, hears me. So Jordan Bouchard, Austin, Sleepy Time, 4 Cat Production, Zane Powers, Bruce Parker, Elwood, Cornbread. I'm going to refresh this so if you miss anybody. You're going to see fireworks because people are happy tonight. People are happy in New York City. Oh, I can see fireworks from here. Okay, there it looks like I'm streaming. Can I hear myself? Everyone clearly sees me, hears me. Okay, there we go. Let's send out the tweet. It might take me a while to get... Man, this computer. Can we do it? There we go. There we go, Twitter. If anyone... how small of an operation this is. Alright, I think I can sort of see what's going on from... Okay, so Cornbread, Elwood, Austin, Twisted Razor, Purple Goop, M Blood T. I'm sorry, I didn't realize daylight savings time for you. Caleb Wilson, where are you, M Blood T? Ryan Walterson, there you is. Not plausible. Frank Clark, Zodberg, Bloxy Oxenwinkle really felt like Paul Blart Mall Cop this week. Thank you for the super chat, Bloxy. For that, I will open up the first super... Well, I got to go live. I can't just be drinking the Red Bulls without being on camera. Hello, how it is go? How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Movie Crap. It has been a long 2 weeks. I think I could say that for culture. But anyway, cheers to you, Bloxy Oxenwinkle. Zane Powers asks, is there a chance Trump's legal battles will win? No, probably not. I think it is over. But cheers to you, Zane Powers. Sorry, I see Zodberg. Hey, Zodberg. But anywho. Okay. Now I can actually see what's going on. Oh, I have a comment. I hope it is great. Oh, it's just Sailor Moon was the best for every D show ever. Anyway, yeah, I don't think it won. I actually had a funny story. So this isn't really a political show, and we're not going to really talk about... I guess it's kind of hard not to talk about... from Discount Viscount, I haven't seen you in a little bit. Will Tommy Wiseau be the next Trump? I doubt it, but that would be more interesting. I guess I was thinking about him recently because I did the Plan 9 thing. Anyway, cheers to you, Discount Viscount. But I only put Biden in the thumbnail because it felt like it'd be hard to not talk about him. Not that I wanted to avoid it. This will primarily be movie news, and primarily the movie news. The last 2 weeks have... If there was ever going to be 2 weeks I should take off, I'd like have a show in 2 weeks, a couple of 2 weeks, it was probably these two. Oh, hey, Sinram's here. Because there is so little movie news, but there's some important stuff, so we will talk about that. But Joe Biden winning today was amazing. How did Creech react to Trump losing? Creech called me. Thank you for bringing up Nathaniel Fogo. Cheers to you. Creech called me. Creech was so happy. As you know, Trump was very much against. Trump was very much against Creech after I did that speech on Pizza Party, and did put him on a watch list. So Creech has been hiding in Canada. He will be coming back on. He will be coming back on January 20th to America, finally. So don't worry, everyone. And Austin said, "Can you say Monkey Bone a bad movie?" What? I'm not really. I need to sit down with Monkey Bone. I don't think I saw it sober, and yeah, will we get a little Biden a la Little Bush? I don't know. I saw some Little Bush recently for the Saber video that didn't happen, but cheers to you, Austin. All right. But yeah, it was crazy today. I actually had a crazy morning. I had a crazy day on Twitter. I had a crazy... Ryan hangs out with Creech sometimes in Canada, which is really nice of Ryan. It's like Ryan, Walterson, Animat, and Creech all chill and watch like good cartoons together. If anyone wants to make that fan art, please do that. Will Biden and Creech enact that speech now? You know what? I forgot about that speech until Trump, during the election, I retweeted because someone posted it. I was like, man, that is... I would like a full animated version. If someone wants to make that their senior thesis, I just throw out like people animate things as I proclaim them. Cheers to you, Zayden Powers. I don't think a Little Bush video is happening right now. Oh yeah, Austin's in Canada. You guys need to look that up. All right, so Biden won. Which is pretty epic. I was at work at the time, so I didn't really get to enjoy it as much as everyone else. But it's still amazing. And Kamala Harris being the first female vice president, I got to watch the speech with Sophie, which was, I don't know if it really sunk in for her, but I'm glad she got to experience it at least. Maybe she can tell her grandchildren. I saw it because of, I saw it... live or what, I saw it when it happened. I hope she remembers that. I don't know. We'll see. But that was pretty amazing. It's just, I feel like it's such a relief because I think a lot of us didn't think we would ever get to a place where he wouldn't win. I thought he was going to have another 4 years and then I don't know what was going to happen after that. It is interesting seeing him lose. But we'll see what happens in the next couple weeks. But, I do have to say, I think one of the craziest things about 2020 is that after the beginning of the year, you told me when Joe Biden won the presidency, people would be cheering and dancing in the streets. I said, I don't believe you. What's the extra context? And you'd be like, oh man, you better sit down. It's been a crazy year. I have a feeling there'll probably be something else happening in the next 2 months, and it's not just Thanksgiving and Christmas, but I feel like we'll get something else. But this has been a pretty epically insane year, and ending it towards the end of this happening, I think is pretty amazing and wonderful. Obviously I voted for Joe Biden, but I think it's pretty awesome. It's just amazing. I'm very happy about that. I'm just really happy that he won. Who said Jacob? What, Jacob? Anyway, you think the Celebrity Apprentice will come back from Austin? I don't know. I will say, cheers to you, Austin. Good question. NBC has an interesting relationship with Trump, a relationship that makes me very uncomfortable, and I wouldn't put it past them. Like, I'm not joking. I'm being honest. Like, I really do think they would do it. All right. So let's. There is some here, but sorry, Buster. Let me get my phone. Joe Biden might call me. I don't know. I actually don't have someone doing that, but if anyone who has my number wants to do that, I'm sure Paleo does it. Killer Biden. Paleo's watching this. It's like, fuck you, Joe. No, I gotta do that. Please no. Alright, anyway. I wanted to get into actual movie news. This will be a little looser of a show. We have 3 segments. One doing the Helluva Boss short, which I wasn't really doing the Has Been Hotel stuff. Didn't feel like something I could have an angle on. I feel like I have enough of one for it, so that's why I'm doing it. The new Gorillaz single featuring Beck. 2020, year of the crazy. Thank you, Cineram. Cheers to you. I'm sorry I don't have a guest for Amazon Prime. Really, this week got away from me, and the people I was asking didn't really get back, who I planned and didn't work out, and it just, but there will be guests. Cineram will be back next week, and then we'll have someone else the week after. And if you notice, I did a Pluto review. I'm going to try to review some of the different kind of streaming services, particularly the free ones, because I think that sometimes is a little more interesting and I can learn more, and it was good to learn more about Pluto, so it'll be interesting. I think 2B will be next, but just so you know about that. Also, before we get into more of the stuff, I put out a Primal review like an hour before the news about Biden came out, so I don't think a lot of people watched it. So if you would like to watch that, that would be appreciated. Last Saturday, oh, Buster's behind me. I try to see, when I see Buster, he has very fuzzy hair, so I try to get all the fur tangles. That's gross, probably, but because it makes him feel good, right, Buster? I put out a song, the Mando song with the Mandalorian and Bonanza, which I'm really happy about. Did you message me something? You did. I feel like you did. You did? You messaged me your channel. People should check out Embla T's channel. Anyway, it's Ram. It's not Ram anymore. It's Dunk. Thanks, Red Sandfeld. Nice one. Yeah, I put out a song for Mando. I'm kind of proud of that. I don't get to do a ton of music, as well as Plan 9 from Outer Space for Halloween, and I can't think of. I'm sure there were a bunch of others I'm forgetting. Oh, Tales from the Far Side, which did a little better than I thought. Anyway, you should check those out. I just want to bring those up because it's been a bit, and that's all. Sorry, enough with the self-promotion. As well, I'll bring it up when I bring up the Discord, because it's sort of related. Anyway, this and pretty much everything I do is supported by you, the fans, through Super Chats during the show or through my Patreon. Click on the link below. It's in the description. It has a lot of cool things, like you have more power in the movie review vote. You find out what the totals are for the movie review vote and what won very early. There's commentary videos at least once a week. There's phone calls, postcards, all sorts of cool stuff that goes on the Patreon. So please pledge if you are financially able to, or send a super chat during the show. Of course, if you are financially able to do so, I very much appreciate it. If you can't financially support the show and everything I do, then just giving a like, subscribing, hitting the bell is very nice of you as well. So thank you very much for doing that and sharing it and telling your friends also. But just watching, if you're just watching and this is just a cool thing and we can be chill, I very much appreciate it. So thank you. As well as the Discord. The Discord has all sorts of things like novelty playing card channel, general. I remember Zordberg had a thing I was almost going to read that was kind of a funny dissertation of movie crap on general last night, and I forgot to save it. I'm sorry, Zordberg. But Discord has a cool energy. It's fun. There's the Ask Jim channel where if you watch this show and can never be here live and always wanted to ask me a question, just go there, put in a question. I try to answer everything. I think there's a slew of ones for me to answer right now, as well as I've started to do a thing every week called the Throwback Video of the Week. I do it on the community tab on the YouTube page as well as on the Discord. So if you want to see that, this week I did Starship Troopers, which in terms of a comment on fascism might have been a little appropriate. That's a little more serious. I try to do goofier ones, but I am trying to do a throwback because I have like almost 2,000 videos. So I thought I'd try to tell people about certain ones because I'm sure there's a bunch you haven't watched, and if you're looking for something to watch, there you go. Anyway, I really like the Discord. Austin and Zane Powers do a killer job, by the way. I heard that you watched Dogma, and that's pretty cool. I'm curious to get to that one. Chase Game is sort of a big one, and I think I'm not going to get to that this month. But I think Dogma is... Whoa, what's going on? Jesus. This... Dogma is next month. Anyway. If you want to make fun of Biden, that's cool. I don't... Okay. This computer is... Oh, boy. All right, so getting on to actual movie news and stuff. Hold on. Okay, getting on to actual movie news. The first kind of news, and I guess it is maybe quick, but maybe not. So Johnny Depp has announced that he is leaving Fantastic Beasts 3 because of the lawsuit that did not work out for him in the UK about... I don't understand the lawsuit. Basically, it turns out Johnny Depp sucks, which we already knew. And Warner Brothers, because they needed proof of that, needed to then fire him from Fantastic Beasts 3. The thing about this is, if I was anyone involved in a J.K. Rowling production in 2020, and someone asked me to leave, I would be like, oh no, you didn't fire me, I quit. Because the thing about this that sort of bothers me is, J.K. Rowling is a bigot, obviously. And because I feel like we say, oh, she's a TERF, she's transphobic, she's a bigot. And I don't really mind saying it. We should really just call it that, because I feel like clearly that is not making a mark on people to say she's transphobic. It doesn't really mean anything if you say, which it should, but obviously it isn't. So why don't we just call her what she is, which is a hateful bigot. But anyway, it's fucking true. But Fantastic Beasts 3 apparently is still happening, and I think Johnny Depp, although his career is seemingly falling apart, this definitely works out for him. I really think it does. Everyone's going like, oh, they should have stuck with Colin Farrell. No, they should have not made these movies. They are horrible. Regardless of this, if you don't talk about J.K. Rowling for currently, these movies are still awful. They're awful movies. The Fantastic Beasts things are they're just terrible. I just don't like these movies at all. I don't get when people defend them. They don't have a good reason. They're just like, aren't they good mysteries? I'm like, there's no way these are good mysteries if you actually like mysteries. If you like bad mysteries, maybe it's a good mystery, but then it wouldn't be a good mystery. Anyway, they suck. I don't really get the thing with these movies, but I think it is kind of one of the funnier things where they're like, we fired this guy for being pretty terrible, and I'm like, isn't your movie written by a bigot though? So like, that's cool with you. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how hard it would be for them to fire her, but I think because of the way society is now, no one's really demanding that. But Johnny Depp was in a court case that I could barely tell you what happened in, and he gets fired. And I'm not saying Johnny Depp shouldn't get fired, but I am saying like there's a definite disparate difference between the two things, and I think maybe why don't they both get fired? That would be cool too. Is it bad that my favorite Quran film is Harry Potter 3? No, I really like Harry Potter 3. That is not bad. Harry Potter 3 is really cool. That's kind of what really got me into Quran, even though I had seen Quran before Harry Potter 3. But there's a difference between liking and loving, and that made me love Quran. Anyway, cheers to you. Thank you for letting me talk, even though I just shouted J.K. Rowling. But whatever, bro. Cheers to your Red Set film. Where is MBLT located? Are you not? Anyway, sorry. I got the impression maybe you're not in my time zone. Anyway, not to be nosy. If you don't want to answer that MBLT, it's up to you. I apologize. Putting you on the spot. So before we get to other things, this kind of went under the radar, but it's something we should talk about briefly. Both Free Guy and Death on the Nile are off the calendar. There is not a new date. They've been moved from 2020. I would suspect that no film is going to be coming out in 2020. However, interesting kind of side notes to this is Tenet is coming to VOD. I believe it's December 15th, 17th, around there. Sorry. And then New Mutants is coming out. I believe it's November. I forgot the thing. November 17th. I'm excited I will have a review of New Mutants. I know that movie's not supposed to be good, but anything that's based on like a big part of, oh, you're Southeast Asia. I didn't know that, MBLT. Congratulations on learning there. So you were definitely confused by the thing. Sorry about that. By the time zone thing. But I'm excited for New Mutants because, obviously it meant a lot to me as a kid. So it's sort of my last hurrah in terms of big important thing of my childhood being rebooted or made into a movie sort of thing. I don't think there's, other than if Space Ghost Coast to Coast comes back or Kurt Cobain is reincarnated. I don't know. It's like, it's basically they've done everything. Even things I didn't really care about have been rebooted from my childhood. It's been ridiculous. And if it's like you guys need to chill with the nostalgia for millennials. But it's kind of like a big thing for me. So I don't know if anyone will care at that point, but it'll probably be me. From my understanding of what they did with the Demon Bear story, it's going to be me getting mad. But it'll be different from everyone else because I actually read the comics and have a attachment thing. So, Space Ghost with CGI card. Damn, I want to watch that. All right, so Two things for HBO. This is going to be a lot of jumping around between older news and news from this week, but this is a weird one. We have fun here, don't we? I hope. Do we? Do you? You're all here. I don't know. Entertain us. I don't care. Okay. So there is two shows, big things picked up for HBO Max. One of which was we'll talk about first is Tiny Toons Luniversity. They went to the Luniversity in Tiny Toon Adventures. It's just I thought for a second, it's like, are they going to like a college? And then I watched the theme song Tiny Toons. I went, oh yeah, that's anyway. I know it's been updated art wise. I haven't heard much about what the different take is possibly or something like that, but it's given a 2-season pickup. A 2-season pickup from HBO Max with Steven Spielberg executive producing. And we have a super chat from Ransam Film says it stinks. Ransam Film on New Mutants. Hey, William Ellman as well. I've heard Ransam Film. It does stink. I do not expect it to be good. But thank you for your take as well. Cheers to you, Ransam Film. And thank you for being here, William Ellman. He has a new song out, which I have not gotten to listen to, but he makes some good music. William Ellman should put some in the chat, get people into it. Anyway, I think Tiny Toons is a smart move for HBO Max because, as I was saying, I think I've said it to other people, but I think it's something that people have nostalgia for that hasn't. It probably is the one thing from my millennial experience that hasn't gotten a sort of reboot of some kind with Animaniacs coming back. I know Animaniacs sort of takes off Tiny Toons' thunder, but with Animaniacs sort of coming, and it seems like that's going to be pretty big Thanksgiving weekend. I'm sure HBO is like, well, we gave away Animaniacs to Hulu, smart move for us. Why don't we do the other thing, which is Tiny Toons, which we have the rights to, and bring back Steven Spielberg executive producing, which could either mean he walks by the room and says, sure, whatever, where's my check, or actually does something cool with it. We'll see. But I'm excited for it. I'm curious who else will probably be involved in the future. But the thing that you probably care more about is the Genndy Tartakovsky show, Unicorn Warriors Eternal. This immediately, and I made the joke on Twitter, I'm really excited for this show and to join Nolan's Facebook group when it gets canceled. This sounds like something that gets canceled, but let me talk about Genndy's relationship with Warner's at this point, because what Warner's is looking at in terms of shows is, one, they are looking at cult shows, which streaming services do because they can get you more involved. They know they get, like, let's say Nolan, they'll make Nolan will sign up for HBO Max most likely or something, or various people will go, it has this and this, oh yeah, I'm going. So I think there's that, but also Primal just won them a ton of Emmys. They are definitely wanting to, continue to win Emmys for the new AT&T thing, or parent company or whatever. So we will continue to see them. They'll probably continue to let Genndy sort of do what he wants. I don't know if they'll give it too much of a pickup. To my understanding, it did not get a 2-season pickup. But it sounds like an animation nerd thing. That seems to be something that works out for Cartoon Network and that brand in general. So I think they will continue to do that. However, Cornbread's... Is there a Red Bull along going on? Anyway, with Cornbread, I'm sorry. Red Bulls are not... I don't know. They give me power, but they're not... Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I like the taste. But I wanted to read the description because it was a good one. It says, throughout history, unicorns have symbolize the virtuous, appearing to ensure the goodness that reigns. When the reawakening of our heroes comes too early, they find themselves in the bodies of teenagers, damned as a result. Their memories of who they are and the history of the unicorn over the centuries have been lost, with some of their magical abilities weakened and fragmented. Not only do they have to protect the world against the prevailing darkness, they have to do it while navigating the unexpected laughs and humor that come along with teenage angst and emotions, which actually sounds really cool. It sounds symbiotic Titan-ish, but I'm excited for Genndy to be able to kind of make some... It seems like this is going to be a good decade for him, or at least it's starting out as a good decade creatively. He's doing a lot of cool things, and I don't hate the Hotel Transylvania films, but I'm glad that he's able to do more with that. Daniel Vasquez says Paramount's Rumble and DreamWorks Spirit Riding Free are now opening against each other on May 27th. Which movie will get hurt the most at the box office? Neither, because I guarantee you that weekend won't happen that way. Also, if theaters even open by then, is incredibly optimistic. But I think Spirit has more of a following and Rumble doesn't. And if I know anything about kids, and thank you, Daniel Vasquez, that is very generous super chat. Kids really do like Spirit, and Rumble just is not going to do well against a franchise like that. So if they do go up against each other, that's what will happen. But I seriously doubt that weekend will happen that way. Cheers to you. Okay, moving on about some streaming stuff. It was revealed, and if you probably saw a bunch of news during like election coverage, particularly on CNN, a lot about Borat 2. I'm definitely going to sneeze. I can feel it. No. Okay. Guess it's not happening. But Amazon paid $80 million for Borat 2. It was an independent production. It looked like it was kind of happening with Universal. It almost happened at Netflix, but Amazon came and bought it for $80 million, which is less than they paid for Coming to America. But yeah. Which is interesting because Borat was a pretty big hit. They keep saying it's the #1 film on Prime, which sort of means nothing because not a ton of people use that service. Ransom Film, but another super chat said, you thought Clerks 2 was bad, you ain't seen Yoga Hosers. That's true. I have not seen Yoga Hosers. I don't know if I think I'm just doing View Askew Universe, by the way. I think I'm going to stop after Clerks 2 when I do that. Anyway, cheers to you. Did Borat 2 save America from Zane Powers? I guess it did. It definitely ruined Rudy Giuliani in front of a hardware store today, giving a press conference. America. I don't know. Cheers to you, Zane Powers. Cheers to you, Ransom Film. But regardless if it saved America or not, Variety had a list which doesn't have the numbers. I want to preface that including the streaming thing where we're not getting a ton of these actual numbers with things. We're just getting, this thing did well news. But apparently, according to SVOD things, the data was shown. Where is it from? It's like from Screen Engine SA was surveyed 1,200 U.S. video viewers between the ages of 13 and 64. According to them, these are the ones that were watched the most. So according to a rating system, which is much like the rating system that no one liked, these were the most watched things. So take that with a grain of salt, I think. But they're saying the most watched streaming movie on premium VOD or streaming platforms was Hamilton the movie from Disney Plus. And the second was Borat, subsequent movie film. The third was My Spy, which is also on Prime Video, which seems to me to be sure. Number 4 was Extraction. And number 5, and this one we didn't talk enough about, was Phineas and Ferb the movie, Candace Against the Universe. You'd think that would have been a bigger deal for many people. It actually did better, according to this list, than Mulan, which was at number 6. We have a super chat from Ryan Walters, and how's it going, Ryan? Cree Summer confirmed on Twitter that Elmira won't be in the new Tiny Toons, and her, along with fellow verse actors, expressed disappointment. That is true. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. We don't really know what's going... Again, we don't know much of what to take, but that was true that Elmira won't be in the new Tiny Toons. I'm not thrilled with that. I would like to... My thing with the Tiny Toons thing is my same thing with Camp Coral, where I do have my suspicions over it. But I want to see what the take is, but I would like them to use the old voice actors, and that is unfortunate. And thank you for rearing up, Ryan. Cheers to you, sir. Other notable things back on this list. Mulan was number 6, number 7. I'm only going to do the top 10, and I'll pick various ones. Number 7 was The Old Guard. Another Netflix. Number 8 was Trial of the Chicago 7. Number 9 was HBO Max. It's only one in the top 10 with The Witches, and number 10 was Lovebirds, which I think everyone forgot came out. But Project Power got number 12. Enola Holmes, which I swear probably was bigger, was 13. Apparently there was a Medea farewell play that was on Prime Video came out August 27th. I'm sure that was not the demographic that I'm in because I didn't know that was out. But To Five Bloods was number 16. Artemis Fowl was 18. American Pickle was 20. And Spencer Confidential, which supposedly has 50 million views, at 21. I do not see Fire Saga in here at all, so it's bullshit. Palm Springs was 26. But yeah, I'm a little confused on this list because Fire Saga wasn't on there, and the fact that they're not actual. I'm sorry, Ace Windrider. I hope you feel better. I'm not sure about that list entirely, but it seems like Hamilton being the biggest one isn't too surprising, but I'm a little surprised Disney has not released numbers. If it beat Extraction, which was about 90 million, which would insinuate it could possibly be 100 million views, but I don't know if that is true or if Netflix is being true or what that is, but that was the numbers that were released on that. So think of those as you want. Anyway, so this news I almost forgot to talk about because of the 2-week thing, but I was reminded because also on the Discord, by the way, I do actually ask what are stories you want me to talk about a day before, and they brought up the Sony thing. I was like, oh fuck, I forgot about that. So Sony is close to buying Crunchyroll for nearly $1 billion, a little less, about 950. So originally the first offer that AT&T went to Sony with was they wanted to sell it for $1.5 billion. Sony said no, and then it's sat around for a little bit, and no one thought it would happen. They're like, thank God, that would be like an anime monopoly. And apparently, there's going to be an anime monopoly, and Sony will be owning Crunchyroll and Funimation. I'm not sure if this means they're going to merge them together. That would probably be the best idea, rather than owning two competing anime streaming services. Sounds like a real stupid idea to me. So I'd imagine that's what they're doing. I think it hurts HBO Max more than AT&T is realizing, because anime, like I've said before, occult stuff or stuff that has a distinct, specific, fan base is better for streaming services than anything. And HBO Max does have Adult Swim, and so maybe they feel like they don't need a streaming anime service, and maybe Adult Swim and Toonami can take on the anime for them, and they can not have Crunchyroll as well. Maybe, the corporate synergy works better with it being gone. But we'll see what happens with that. It is not a done deal. I know people said they overvalued the customers and how much they were worth, but they are younger consumers who often spend more. So we'll see about that. Ransom Film said, saw your counselor review. I guess I have bad taste. Sorry. It seemed you didn't like that. You like the counselor. Apologies. I forget what I said. It seems like I was a little offensive. Cheers to you, the Ransom Film. Wow, we're getting a lot of super chats tonight. Thank you, everyone, for your generosity. Daniel Vasquez says, I didn't know Spirit Riding Free is very popular. Every kid I know never heard of the show, and I saw no advertising for it. There is not very much advertising. If you go to a kid's toy aisle, there's a lot of horses in there, and it's just a Netflix show. But the Netflix kid shows are weird. You can never really gauge that stuff because it's not like normal TV. It's just like, I don't know how these things get popular. Like Bluey, which is a huge Disney Plus show. I don't know how kids found out about it, but they did. It doesn't make sense anymore. I don't know. The kids today. Cheers to you, Daniel Vasquez. Alright, is it good for anime to be owned by one major corporation? Probably not. But what I'm assuming Warner's and AT&T is trying to do with this is, I'm assuming they looked at, wait, we have Toonami, we have Adult Swim, and we have Crunchyroll. What are we saying with this? And I feel like maybe they just realized they had too many things that were doing the same thing, and so they're like, why did I just open photos? I don't want that. Go away. I think they just realized they have the same thing, they have too many things that are doing the same thing, and they don't really need a Crunchyroll. To a certain degree, but it is probably going to hurt them because there's certain anime they won't have. Maybe they should have, folded Crunchyroll into Toonami, something like that. Probably would have been a lot more helpful. But we're going to see. It is worrying for anime in America, but I do think if they had like a mega streaming service, no one could mess with them. Because, by the way, Sony doesn't have a streaming service. They have Crackle, but let's be real, it's like not having a streaming service. And even the most of the reason people went to Crackle was comedians in cars getting coffee, which they know, which they no longer have. It's on Netflix. The Westerner says, just felt like interrupting Jim. That's very nice of you. Oh, hola, soy de Mexico. Thank you, Bruno Sanchez Gomez. Nice to see you here as well. But yeah, thank you, the Wesinator. Sorry, cheers to you. So here never behaves itself on stream. When I shoot videos, it's fine. I never have to worry about it. When I stream, well, these are longer when I shoot videos, I guess. So anyway, there was the Black 007. I think we all knew Lashana Lynch is playing 007. The thing, it seems to be, people go, oh, well, she's the new James Bond. And what I think they're really doing, and I like this concept for No Time to Die, is that she is 007 and James Bond is not 007 anymore. 007 is the agent number. You can be an agent and be 007 and not be James Bond, but James Bond is obviously just James Bond. What you could do, and what I think they're probably trying to do if No Time to Die comes out and does well, and they have good repartee, with Daniel Craig, you launch two different franchises. You have a 007 franchise, you have a James Bond franchise. Because they can be separate things, and that would be a really cool thing. That's sort of what I got from this interview, but I do like the idea of this. A lot of this, so Ryan and I had a discussion over this. I thought everyone knew she was 007. It seems like people are like, well, now it's official, it was announced, but I was like, well, when it's in the trailer, isn't it announced? I don't know, that's confusing to me. But I wouldn't mind two franchises, because I think Bond needs to kind of evolve more. And it does. I've seen a lot of people, when No Time to Die was almost saw it, the comments on Twitter was like, oh, this is a boomer franchise and stuff like that. And I think James Bond is kind of an older in the tooth franchise. I don't think it is that bad. I think it's a lot of fun. It can be a lot of fun. I do think you can get introduced to it the wrong way. There's I would say there's about 10 good ones, maybe 5 great ones, and there's a lot of other ones, let's put it that way, and I think that kind of brings it up. Ransom Film said, disagree with you, but not with Nostalgia Critic on Tusk. Years fade? I'm not sure what that means. I don't know what Nostalgia Critic said on Tusk, but that's fine. I don't really remember what I said on Tusk. I've never thought about it. Anyway, cheers to you. I don't really want her to be 008. I like the idea of James Bond having to deal with a female 007. That's an interesting concept for a movie. That's an interesting concept to me. And you let James Bond still be James Bond, because that seems to be everyone's really upset thing about, like, oh, James Bond can't be a woman, can't be this, can't be this, can't be that. It's like, whatever the fuck. Who cares? Like, just make 007 a different thing, and then James Bond can continue to be James Bond. There's a better way to launch it, frankly, is within a James Bond movie. So I think it'd be really cool. Nostalgia Critic liked it. See, you know why Nostalgia Critic liked Tusk? If there was anyone who would do a Tusk-like experiment on someone, wouldn't it be the Nostalgia Critic? Think about it. Anyway, I mean, it's not accurate. So the Ninja Turtles, the director of the Ninja Turtles, the 1990 Ninja Turtles, has said they want to do a 20 years later type reboot under that original universe. I think that could be cool. I think people would like it. I do think the problem with that is the 20 years thing is, one, financially those things aren't always as successful as like Force Awakens and things like that, because Ninja Turtles has been in theaters sort of recently. I think it could work for streaming. That could work, but I don't see that working theatrically. But is there a theatrically? But we'll see. The super chat won't let you say the F word. Oh, that fucking sucks. Sorry about that, Red Samfield. Cheers to you. I do think it's a good idea, but I don't know theatrically if that'll work. I think on streaming it could work. Would it be a good movie? Yes. Financially, if I was a studio, I would say maybe this should go on streaming. I'm sure Netflix would do crazy good numbers if you have a good enough script, but I didn't see a concept. But the idea of them bringing it back does sound kind of cool. The director of Sponge on the Run, the third SpongeBob movie, I know a lot of people have done. Everyone in the cartoon community has seen it. I have not decided if I'm going to review it this week or not. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll wait. I'm not sure. But the director talks about how he has been talking about how he was disappointed that it's gotten such a staggered release, that it got released in theaters in Canada, got released here, that this happened. It didn't really get a fair release, I don't think. But that's sort of the pandemic. The fact that people have gotten to see it at all is kind of amazing in itself. But it doesn't seem like many people like this movie, so I don't know. I know it's coming on a lot of other foreign Netflix. So if you have a VPN, I'm not sponsored by NordVPN or ExpressVPN or anything, but go to Quentin Reviews. He's a good guy. Use his code. Okay. The Netflix is teasing a linear... Watch it legally like a man. Thank you, Ryan. I'll wait then. If Ryan says it, I'll just go with that. Netflix is teasing a linear TV channel. So what is... Oh, you know what? Do I have a later story about this? I believe I do. Okay. Well, okay. All right. It was right under it. It's almost like I organized this in a conversational way. Netflix is talking about doing a linear channel that would be of their own programming. They're kind of testing the idea out, possibly on a DirecTV type thing. I think what they're looking at here, and is one thing, since I recently reviewed Pluto, is the power of that streaming service. It's one that's offering a lot of things much closer to almost as frequently as Netflix. So I think they're looking at what else is out there and going, hey, maybe we should do that as well, because then we could, continue to make money and evolve as a streaming service. But first, let's go back to a super chat. Discount Viscount says, has the MCU lost steam with the post-Avengers lull coinciding with COVID, or will it bounce back to dominance with their next big build-up? And that is from Discount Viscount. Thank you for the super chat and being generous as well. Cheers to you. I think it's going to be hard. I think they're probably... I would say Black Widow is just going to have to come to Disney+. But with WandaVision, we'll see, because it is not their plan of releasing things, which originally was going... At this point, if there was been no COVID, and I don't know what that world would be, but Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to come out. We would have already seen it. It was supposed to come out before Mandalorian Season 2. And then that ended, and then Season 2 of Mandalorian happens, and all that shit. And that didn't happen. So I think what they're trying to do is just get out what they can get out at this point. I think when... The thing is they're going to have sort of a weird year. I think Shang-Chi, I've heard good things about. I think that could be more of a breakout. I question Eternals. I have seen nothing of it, though. So I don't know. I really don't. And I don't know if we have a financial viability for big productions like we used to. The way we did pre-pandemic. I don't see that happening as much. So I think it is going to be hard for any big blockbuster to get to the level Disney was doing in 2019 is an impossibility, at least right now, because not all theaters are open, and it doesn't look like they're going to be. So I don't think they're going to get to that forever in terms of hype, because they'll have to release movies that get that hype, and it's going to be very hard to do that without, $300 million. So, you instantly respark interest? No, it didn't. It's weird. Okay. So, the other thing was CBS Viacom is going to get rid of other streaming services to focus on Paramount Plus. What that means, basically, and don't worry if you're worried about the one thing I reviewed recently, I'll get to that. All of their things like MTV, MTV Hits, Nick Jr., Nickelodeon. Oh man, that sucks. So he uses Nick Jr. All those side streaming services that they have, and we saw this, what Disney did, is they used to have, like, every channel had its own streaming service, and suddenly they're like, wait a minute, what if we didn't have 20? What if we just made it all one? So that's effectively what they're going to do. You're going to see them shut those down, I'm assuming probably by the time Paramount Plus launches, to make Paramount Plus more attractive and to make all those streaming services that you were getting through your cable package gone. So, cool. They're making... So if you think of cord cutting, it's becoming less and less attractive to have cable. But, yeah, we're going to see a lot of those shut down, except for Pluto. They specifically brought out how profitable Pluto is, which is, again, why Netflix is trying to do it. I'd also add, a lot of people Pluto's success is interesting, because when I research it, it seems like it is actually very successful. But as well as Shudder does a similar thing to what Pluto does, but I think what we're seeing with the Pluto model is that people actually like curation. The other interesting thing about Pluto is I've seen them play like Netflix originals, so they might have seen like how much money and ratings they're getting for their movies on there. So, but it seems like Viacom, in terms of streaming, after a certain point, is just going to be Paramount Plus and Pluto TV. That does actually suck because we use Nick Jr. a lot, and I just realized that definitely affects me. Cool. All right. Okay. So Christopher Nolan talked about Tenet's box office, was promoting a kind of book that's a critical essay about his about him, which doesn't look amazing or anything, the book, but it does. A lot of people are watching. Well, thank you for watching, people. It was like a critical essay that someone wrote on I can capture moments while they happen. Apparently I can do that. I'm too busy creating moments to capture them. I didn't say that well. Anyway. Anyway, forget that. Ransom Film said, remade my first film and about to send it to Troutman. Well, congratulations and good luck, man. Cheers to you. Where were we? Oh, yes, Christopher Nolan was doing interviews for this book, or a interview, I guess, and talked about Tenet's box office. He thought it was actually good, which seems funny, but is true. He thought it was good, and that he was hoping that they would prove to other movie studios and chains that they could release more bigger things, which, of course, they didn't. He was expecting more of a follow-through, which there wasn't. I have heard the numbers in terms of theaters. There's been no marketed, no confirmed cases of coronavirus from a movie theater, although I have no plans to go to one in the immediate future. I also can't because they're closed, so I don't know how much that even means. Since I don't even have that option, I'm not really turning down anything. But I sort of think he thought he could really start something. It seemed like, from his words, what I will give him credit for, that it was egotistical, but it seemed like he thought that he would start something that would then give someone a bigger hit, in terms of his words, and that it would continue, and no one else did it. So, as much as I think it was about he wanted to be like, look, I brought back cinema, I think he was like, well, I just sort of started it, and then other people, I started the ball rolling. And I think no one kept it up. I don't know if it was the right time. I think you probably should have delayed it. But I am curious to see it in September. Hello, obscure anime guy. So Bob's Burgers, there's still going to be a movie, but it's actually interesting in this interview. I noticed with EW, I noticed an interesting thing about it is that there was supposed to be a Bob's Burgers theatrical short, presumably before Soul. They weren't entirely sure it was going to be called My Butt Has a Fever, about the Bob's Burgers thing. So it'd be basically you get a Simpsons short, then you get a Bob's Burgers short, so on and so forth. I'm sure there's a Family Guy short. But there was one planned. There's no knowledge of when that was going to get a release, which is kind of actually interesting. But they're still planning to have the Bob's Burgers movie released theatrically, but I'm curious when this short will come out. It doesn't seem like they seem to know, but I think that would be a cool Disney Plus exclusive or something like that. We'll see, but I think it could be cool if they actually did that, but it doesn't seem like there are any plans for it, so there's sort of this lost Bob Burgers short. If anyone's looking for a lost media video to make, research that, have fun. So Paige Howard brings this up, and it's an Alan Gregory short. Nice, Austin. A King of Hill short out. So no more Pixar shorts. So Paige Howard, that's a good question. So I do think what's interesting about what's happening with Pixar is they seem to be making more shorts available to the public through Disney Plus, but they're not coming out with productions, which is part of what I didn't like about the Simpsons short. Also, it wasn't as good as a usual streaming service as the usual Pixar short is. I think what we'll see, we'll probably see more of that because they just want to constantly be redoing things with their things on Fox and stuff like that. So they'll probably continue to do that, which kind of sounds pretty lame to me, if you ask me. Anyway, so I think ever since we've seen things about I've heard about Paul McCartney possibly making a animated movie for like forever. I feel like I've read this on Cartoon Brew and other movie news sites, but apparently Netflix is finally giving him one. I think this is probably good because, you know, Paul McCartney was in the Beatles. He helped with Yellow Submarine. Clearly he's a great songwriter. He never did a song for Disney, which, you know, I guess Phil Collins and Sting were perfectly acceptable, but like you couldn't work it out with Paul McCartney. That's cool. But it's called High in the Clouds. I know he's been trying to get an animated feature off the grounds for forever. I'm kind of glad because I think his music works really well with kids, and hell, the Beatles is pretty much kids' music. I'm not trying to degrade it or anything like that. It's just, you know, it plays well for kids. Kids grow up with the Beatles. I think it'd be great for him to have an animated feature. I didn't see a plot line with it, but it also helps with Netflix because maybe they could actually get Yellow Submarine on streaming. But since that is a favorite for a lot of families, I can see a lot of them, you know, if it's appropriate enough, watching High in the Clouds because they at least probably know some Paul McCartney or know the Beatles and things like that. So I think it sounds like a cool project to me. I'm excited for that. So AMC is selling up to $47 million worth of shares to kind of continue to operate past the end of 2020. They are in kind of a dicey situation, obviously. I think this and the Free Guy Death and Nile news, and I know there's been a lot of rumblings on Twitter which are very not confirmable, but it seems to have gotten pretty far, was the idea that Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be moved back to June, which seems, I think it's basically just people predicting something that will definitely happen. I mean, it's just yes, have I thought it, but I could just make up random shit, but I think that's most likely. It doesn't seem like they're going to put that on HBO Max. So, I think I'm still surprised that Apple and Amazon hasn't bought a theater chain. Maybe they were waiting for the election to end or something like that, but we'll see. I think it is it's disappointing. It's scary right now. I think it is really scary. We are definitely on the cusp of something bad happening and or major change happening, and I don't know what that is yet, but it's like these signs do not make me think good things. No, they don't. All right. I don't feel good things about these theaters. All right, so we have a few things and then trailers and then take a break. This might be a shorter show, actually. And then I'll take a break, segment, all that. All right, so a couple news stories until the trailers and stuff part. Amazon, during a lawsuit because someone found out when they bought movies, someone basically sued 21. Hey, what's up? It's Jim talking about Troma's Urban. Oh, in 2020. Okay. We'll see, Red Sam Film, but good luck to you. I like that. All right. Good enthusiasm, sir. So there was a lawsuit. Someone sued Amazon over their digital movie collection, realizing they don't own them, and they got Amazon to admit that when you buy a film digitally, which, by the way, I've never done, I've only rented, but if you buy a film digitally from Amazon, you don't technically own it. It's more of sort of a license. I don't know. I've looked at buying films digitally, and it always seems a bit funky, but it was revealed through that lawsuit that is in fact true. So if that very much upsets you and you want to physically own a film, you can either torrent it or you could go on DVD or Blu-ray. But I would most likely, if you want to support a film and you want to tell the movie studios, Amazon, your evil overlords who take all of your metadata and all that stuff, I would say buy a movie because it tells you that you will actually pay money for it, and then they will put more money into making more of them, giving it better releases, making it more available, all those sorts of things. And also, the people that made them will hopefully get 2 cents or something. So, yeah. But it was kind of, I'm not going to say I was shocked, but I sort of figured. But I've heard that through iTunes because you could move to a different country and suddenly you're not supposed to be having that movie in a certain country and they can take it away. Or, all sorts of weird things. Or the distributor could be like, well, we're going to take that away for now. It's not going to be available for this year. Things like that. It's just, that sort of stuff legally can happen. All right, so Jordan Peele is going to be remaking The People Under the Stairs. He's producing and writing it. The thing about this, and this would actually, I learned, be the first remake of a Wes Craven film since he died, which is pretty insane. The thing about this, The People Under the Stairs, is as soon as Get Out came out, that following Halloween, so many film programmers programmed People Under the Stairs. I think I reviewed it because I kept seeing it played so many places because of Get Out. The other thing with People Under the Stairs, it is very much a metaphor for the Reagans and the Reagan era. And the parents who keep the kids under the stairs are very much, playing Ronald and Nancy Reagan. Now, if you were to adapt it and change that to be Melania and Donald Trump, that could actually work. I think that would be a great idea. But I also feel like for Jordan Peele, this is a bit on the nose for him. Specifically because, film programmers, figured it out in 2017 that he was much like that film and that film was influential to him and all these things. I just feel like it's too on the nose for him. I don't know what the take is. If it is like we're going to change it to more, obviously it would have to be Trumpian, but good night, Ransom Film. Thank you for all the super chats. You have a good night and good luck with all your trauma stuff, by the way. But I think what is happening with People Under the Stairs will be interesting. I hope they do something cool with it, but it feels too on the nose for me. Candyman was a franchise. They're changing it. It definitely is a horror thing that certain people know a lot about. I'm sure Jax could write a dissertation on that. But we'll see. Whatever happened to Chris Rock's Spiral? Sometimes I see a question on the chat, and I was thinking about that actually today. Nathaniel Foga. Basically, what happened is keeps being pushed back and pushed back. This summer for Chris Rock would have been different. I've been watching the latest season of Fargo. I've never watched Fargo before this season. And I was thinking, this is supposed to be, his summer, and he didn't get to do that because of this, which I think sort of stinks. So, I'm sorry for you, Chris Rock. But I'm curious about that. And I'll answer this awesome one. These are kind of good questions. So, I'm just going to answer, can Peele do a movie with Keegan? Again, I don't know if they will, but I know that there was internal talks, I heard leaked, that they were planning on doing a film after Keanu. And I don't know what that was. Just the idea of them working together after Keanu, there was an idea of several films with them, and that clearly after Get Out, which it seemed like Get Out, neither of them thought it would be what it was. Originally, the idea, I think, was to work on one. I don't know how far that idea got or developed, but I know that there were talk of it. Anyway, the other thing was the Moon Knight casting with Oscar Isaacs. This has, by the way, not been confirmed. I think Oscar Isaacs is probably looking at the fact that and a lot of people said that, I love Oscar Isaacs. He is not a movie star who can open a movie. He can do that for an indie film. He cannot do that for a huge film. And although he's getting probably nice paydays for Addams Family, the voiceover stuff and things like that, he's not getting these, he's not making $20-30 million a lot. So I think he's probably look, I'm this age for this amount of time. I can do indie movies, when I'm old and weak, but I can only do the superhero thing a certain amount of times, and Apocalypse didn't work out. So it seems like that's probably why he's doing it, especially I'm sure Disney Plus is going to have to pay him extra because, he probably already has enough nerd cred and box office. He's already worked for them in Star Wars, things like that. He also, I think it should be said, when people who are already in nerdy franchises take on another thing, they do make a lot off of us. When there are conventions, their value to those things go up a lot, and that is a market they think of for revenue. And I'm sure Oscar Isaacs is looking at, hey, these indie movie things dry up, I can do the convention circuit forever and always if I'm in he's in a Star Wars. He's probably good, but he's extra good if he has Moon Knight. I'm sure that's something that crossed their mind. I'm definitely sure it did. And then finally, there's this film called Revolver. It is going to be directed by Andrew Stanton, which is interesting. It is going to star Maya and Ethan Hawke. It is about, in the 60s, the Beatles are flying somewhere for a reason. They're I don't know. And they stop their plane stops in Alaska to refuel or something. And Maya Hawke is trying to sort of meet the Beatles, basically. There's a similar one that Rachel Bloom is writing about Lance Bass and In Sync. which also seems to be in development. There's a couple of these, but the Beatles one has Andrew Stanton and sounds like kind of a more interesting concept. I'm not saying that because, the Beatles are like better than NSYNC. Hot take, I know. Calm down, chat. Don't freak out. I'm sorry I just said that. But I do think a girl meeting NSYNC would be similar to, I think it's called what was the Robert Zemeckis film? Can't Buy Me Love or something like that. Or I Want to Hold Your Hand. It's a Beatles song. I don't know. I think that would be cool too. I think it would work in separate ways. But, obviously if Lance Bass is in it, she would probably find out he's gay. I'm assuming that's why they did that, but whatever. Oh, that's interesting, Cornbread. All right. Anyway, let's do some trailer stuff. And then I'm going to take a break. No, then it's obits. Sorry. Then I'm going to take a break. So I saw the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special trailer. It looked fun. It does play like a sequel to Rise of the Skywalker. I still think they should release the other holiday special with it. It'll be interesting to see this one with in comparison, because it's just so weird that they're like banking on nostalgia for something that they can never put on their streaming service. So, like, is this the only time a major corporation has banked on the nostalgia from a bootleg? I mean, you could say, oh, for Star Wars, but for real, it's like a bootleg. There was a trailer for the Saved by the Bell reboot on Peacock. It actually looks a lot of fun, and we heard that Laura is also going to be on it. I know that they all have problems with Screech, but part of me thinks it's a little weird. I think they should bury the hatchet and figure something out with Dustin Diamond. I know they're not. I don't know the whole deal with that. I know he wrote a book. I don't know all of the ins and outs of that, but it does feel weird not having Screech there. But I'm excited for it. I do listen to Zach to the Future, or I'm not that caught up, but I've listened to a lot of it. It's a pretty good podcast. Godzilla Singular Point, which is an anime that's going to be on Netflix. Netflix seems to be very invested in the Godzilla animation game. This looks a lot more promising than the previous Godzilla animated thing on Netflix. I'm excited for it. There was I guess it was leaked. Did it ever get an official release? The Tom and Jerry trailer looked actually pretty cool. It looks like a cool concept of them running around a hotel. Conceptually, I think it could work within what is good about Tom and Jerry. There wasn't any gags that really blew me away, but it just looked like on a concept level, I'm with you, but there's nothing in this trailer that makes me go, oh, I want to see that. I'm just more I guess I'll see that, which is a lot of animated things. And then there's going to be an animated show called Shaq's Garage, which I totally forgot anything about other than I put it on here, but I'm assuming Shaquille O'Neal has a garage or something, and those things happen. All right, so I believe Screech was in porn. So one obit before we get on to a break, which is the major one, I believe, was that we lost Sean Connery basically on Halloween. I understand that Sean Connery is controversial, particularly his views on hitting women, which I don't agree with. I think that tarnished a pretty impressive legacy. He's the only person I think I said who's worked with Alfred Hitchcock and Michael Bay. I don't know if there's anyone like that other than him. He was the first James Bond. He set the mold. He was in my mind, the first 3 James Bond movies are probably the best 3. Those are Dr. No from Russia with Love and Goldfinger. I think if you're going to talk about his legacy as James Bond, you should watch those. He's done, he won an Oscar. He was Indiana Jones's father. He had a legendary career. He was a great actor, mostly because you always wanted to watch him when he was on screen. In all his movies, even when he was older, he's You're the Man Now, Dog. He had a pretty impressive career. When you think of all the pop culture that he encompassed, it's insane. And I just think he is a pretty impactful actor. I understand, by the way, if you don't feel that way because of how he treated women, but I can't disagree with that. I think that is he was a dick, and I think a lot of those actors at the time felt very okay with doing that sort of thing, but whatever. But in terms of his actual performance on screen and so forth, I think those first Dr. No, Goldfinger, Russia with Love, fantastic. His Hitchcock was not one of my favorites, but he's in it, and The Rock, and The Man Who Would Be King, and Unforgiven, or not, no, sorry, The Untouchables, which is like fine. It's cool, you know. Don't forget his final film, Mr. Bill. Look it up. I'm aware of his final film, Discount Viscount, and thank you for ringing up. Cheers to you. All right, so, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Jesus. All right, so one thing I wanted to do, because I never do a cool place for fan art. Someone drew this, and I forgot to write down their name. And I will put their name in the description of this video if you're watching this later. If anyone wants to link their actual thing on the... Oh, I love Dragon Art. Thank you, Nathalia Foga. I'm going to show fan art while I'm freshening up before I come back. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you want to bring fan art, send it to me on Twitter and so forth, I will feature it during the segment. It's sort of a new idea. I thought it'd be a fun way to do things. But anyway, this is me with Creech. I will look up who drew this. I apologize. I will do this better. This is my first time. And have a link to your stuff. But yeah, anyway, I will be right back and then we'll talk about Helluva Boss, Gorillaz, Amazon Prime, questions. And anyway, I'll be right back and enjoy this picture. Alright, cool. Okay. How's everyone in the chat doing? Let's hold on one second. Okay, sorry. Alright. Let's bring that back. Okay. I will look up who that is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry whoever drew that. I will try. But yeah, if you send me fan art, send me a link as well. I will link to your stuff. Make sure it's about of me and stuff. I don't know. I think that'd be a fun way to do things. Alright. Apologies whoever drew that. I will have that in there. I tried to watch a French New Wave film after this. I'm curious which one. A Band Apart or A Band of Outsiders is a good one to start with, or Breathless, or 400 Blows. There's a whole bunch. Anyway, let's get to the segments. So, while we were off, the first episode from Vizzypop's Helluva Boss series came out. Normally before I didn't talk much about Vizzypop and oh hey Buster, Vizzypop and Has-Been Hotel, but I thought when I was watching this one, I thought it was interesting. So basically the idea of it is someone in hell who's been wronged, and these demons will then go to Earth and sort of make it right, or basically kill someone, because it's I like Vizzypop. It's the animation's very fluid. I've never really understood what everyone's deal is with her. It never really made a lot of sense to me, but they're always really fun, well animated, well planned out cartoons, and this is much like that. But the concept basically of them going to basically take care of someone's wrongs that they are going to take right, I thought had an extra interesting element to it, because in most horror movies, when you see the killer and they're going to like take revenge, there's sort of like a twist. You get to this point and you see like you find out that these people you thought were sort of innocent are actually awful or something. And in this show, at least with the first one, everything is sort of laid out as like text. So basically the idea that this woman who went to hell because she found out her husband was cheating on her, and she kills her husband and mortally wounds the woman he was sleeping with, and I guess kills herself or she dies. I forget which. Point is, she goes to hell and has kind of like an end part that's bad. Or did the cops kill her? I forget. Point is, she's in hell, and she sends them back because everyone finds her husband's girlfriend to be finds out that she is a hero on Earth, and that really upsets her, and she wants to get her revenge. Now, I did really like the idea of this is like they're going to go, like the idea that society is cynical enough that they would believe the mistress and find her to be good, even though this whole thing was obviously, she was cheating on her family and she's an adulteress and things like that, but also that clearly her actions drove someone kind of insane and like very much hurt someone and things like that. I think were it was interesting. It was an interesting way to take a horror story, because most of these things would be, and the twist is, and this is like, there's no twist. These people are awful. It's very cynical. It was a cynical way to look at it, but it's very kind of like taking all of the subtext and just making this cynical text that I thought was actually kind of fascinating. I still really like the flow of this animation. It is pretty much like professional animation on YouTube, made independently. I don't know why Helluva Boss doesn't have a deal much like Has-Been Hotel. Maybe they just want something that they control on their own. But they have this whole production line of like funny characters in hell, which I'm assuming, aren't they in the same universe? I forget. I should probably know things like that. But I just like the whole idea of, and the whole cynical viewpoint of it, and the whole twist on a kind of horror tale. I thought it was perfect for Halloween when it came out. It's perfect like that. I want to watch the next one. I want to see like what they're going to do with this kind of concept. It sort of just sets it up really well, which I liked. And I think you can do interesting takes on like horror tales. Like imagine like the Amityville Horror, but like what the ghosts are up to. You know what I mean? And I think that's actually really cool. You could have a lot of fun with that. So I hope we'll see. And then we also find out that the murder family is worse and even more horrible as it goes on. So the twist is more so on them. But I think you can do a lot of fun things with this concept, and I think this one set it up in a perfect way where I'm curious. Like I'm going to watch the next Helluva Boss, and I kind of only saw it because I saw Saber watched it and he was into it, and I heard all this good stuff, and I was like, all right, maybe I'll check it out. And I think it is definitely worth a watch. I like Vizzypop. I think she's doing some great stuff. And this got me just as excited. Maybe not, I don't think it's meant to be like what Has-Been Hotel is or anything like that, but obviously, as an artistic statement, I think it works really well. And it kind of sets it up almost in a kind of episode of the week kind of thing that I'm excited for. I like the kind of intro where it sets up the teacher and like her whole thing and who she was before and how this ruined her life. So I'm assuming that's going to be the structure. You get like this cold open, you find out who this person was, how they ended up in hell, how they were wronged, then you see them come in. I think you can work in a real structured show, and that can be actually really powerful. So I'm excited for more of this, and I think this show, Has Been Hotel episode 1 started off this series in the right way. All right, so next up, yeah, I think we'll be ending a little early this time. So just to warn you a bit there. Sorry, man, I hate this U.S. election thing. I guess because I mentioned Joe Biden. How well. Anyway, did we talk about the Muppets? Did I skip over that? How did I skip over that? Did we talk about the Muppets? I don't think I did. Where did that go? God damn, fucking... I don't think we did. Ah, crap. How did that happen? I don't even know. Did we... Yeah, I think we skipped over. Yeah, I skipped it. Thank you, Ryan. Alright, so we'll talk about the Muppets. I'm sorry about that. Oh, SNL is postponed? I didn't know that. Is that true? Wow, okay. That's crazy. So, Muppets. I apologize. So there was a Hollywood Reporter article about the Muppets, and basically how the Muppets are viewed at Disney. I have sort of a bunch of thoughts on this article. One of which is, it talks mostly about Disney's mishandling of the Muppets with Steve Whitmire, with everything like that. There's a lot of issues brought up, but one that is hopeful is that Bob Chapek, who's, I guess, head of Disney, I'm not sure which, he's more of a fan than Bob Iger was, who didn't do enough with the Muppets. It felt like they didn't really know what to do with it, which I definitely agree with. Sorry about I missed the Muppets thing. The one thing they bring up is that it's very much a boys' club with the Muppets. Is that they were planning that they need to get more female puppeteers and more people of color and things in the main Muppet cast, because you make exponentially more than if you're a sporting player. But I was also that's the part I don't like as much, because I wish Disney, they obviously were participating in this article, and I wish they'd fix things rather than, like, you're supposed to be presenting the Muppets to a new generation. I think Muppets Now sort of did that, but I wish they just dealt with that and then brought it up, rather than go, oh, this is a problem. But it's like, you're the company, like, you can clearly fix that. Like, why aren't you fixing it? It's like bringing up that thing. I don't understand why you would present it in that way. That seemed weird, and I didn't like them kind of messing with the brand necessarily when they could have, actually done something. Because I think things should change, and I didn't like that they kind of drag them through the mud without actually changing anything. Disney, it's just like, what the fuck? I don't know. It didn't seem like they have any more plans, and we have heard those rumors about the Muppet Show getting on Disney Plus. It seems like they do want to do something with that franchise, but they've had a rough transition with it. But I think with Bob Chapek and someone who maybe is a little more focused on what the Muppets need to be. I noticed there was no mention of the Josh Gad developed Muppet Show that we heard about a long time ago that was supposed to take place after Muppets Take Manhattan. I'm not sure what happened there, but I think it is. We'll see what happens with it, but it seems to me that Disney is sort of about to turn a corner, but they have yet to turn a corner. And it's like Muppets Now kind of helped, but it didn't fully help, and it did feel like, especially online, that didn't have the best reception, unfortunately. Although I thought it did help kids get into it. But I'm curious what they're going to do with it later, specifically with Chapek. It seems like there are about to be a lot of changes, but to me, I wish they had made those changes and then done this, rather than this is kind of I don't know. It seemed like Hollywood Reporter was going to do it, but we'll see. But I'm glad it seems like that we're about to get a new future with the Muppet Show and with Bob Chapek taking hold. So, all right, anyway. Sorry about that. I don't know what... It's hard to do a show like this, I don't know. Anyway, Muppet Babies is true. They don't mention Muppet Babies. That's a good point. All right, so let's talk about Gorillaz, The Valley of Pagans, the music video. The music video or single from Song Machine. So I, jeez. Okay, that's better. Sorry. Gorillaz, Valley of the Pagans with featuring Beck. This kind of checks out a lot of boxes for me, as I like the Gorillaz and I really like Beck. This might sound like the alternative rock kind of mega combo that we'd get from in 1997, but it plays really well. I think Beck works really well with the Gorillaz. I really like the song a lot. It reminds me kind of Beck's Colors album musically, although I know it's Gorillaz who made it, not Beck or anything like that, but he meshes well with it. I know it's supposed to be about influencer culture and things like that. To me, it just worked like a Beck kind of song and a Blur song do, and just felt like a bunch of random stuff, but I liked it. It did have a very GTA vibe, which I thought was really cool. It felt almost like GTA meets live action meets also animation, because it's the Gorillaz. Well, they drive around in the car they have from Stylo. It does feel like through these music videos they're building sort of much like they do with most of the Gorillaz music videos. They're building off of their established world, and with the car and everything like that. I did like how Beck is on the phone in it, like he clearly filmed it at home or something like that. I thought that was an interesting way to do it, because obviously because of COVID, it would have been cool to see an animated Beck, but maybe like they couldn't get him to work as well, or didn't. I don't know. I noticed it said like iFruit on it, and also there was obviously like Bullet references in that. This song, like, I don't know, it reminded me more of sort of what Beck is doing. So yeah, I definitely looked at it more as a Beck song. But I thought him and Damon Albarn like contrasted each other very well in that kind of funky way. This song plays really well next to the song before it that features Robert Smith. But it definitely has more of a groove, funkier vibe. And I guess in some ways, because of the car, because of the bass and everything, remind me of Stylo. I like how it moves, I like how it flows, and I like how this is a very punchy music video. And seeing that car drive around, it did remind me of Bullet, even though Bullet's in San Francisco. This was clearly in LA. It had that flow to it. I know it had the reference to the album cover at the end, which it seems kind of par for the course for all this stuff, especially because they had the Stylo car, so why not? But it plays like a great Gorillaz music video. It's just like them doing this cool thing, a funky, fun song with them driving around. I think works really well, and this had a cool enough concept with the GTA thing, and with Beck in there as well. Just ended with this kind of like cool alternative funk for alternative musician guys who can still really do it, with Damon Albarn and Beck. It was like a perfect amalgamation of all of it. So I really like Valley of the Pagans. I guess it probably represents something about some social media person. Everyone says who they're talking about. I don't actually know, but I'm sure to some people they know, and to them, congrats, because I have no clue. But I can tell you, I enjoy listening to this song, and I enjoy watching this music video. I don't know if I know necessarily what it's about, other than them driving around and looking cool, and hearing Beck sing a chorus, and I don't really have any disagreements for that. This feels like it's almost like perfect for my likes and personality and things like that. But yeah, it's just, to me, like, just worked in a fun way. I guess I don't have a ton of notes. It just kind of works in a kind of like a nice, fun, kind of GTA reference-y kind of thing. And I think they did a good job with it. Alright, so finally, let's do Amazon Prime recommendations. It's definitely going to be a shorter recommendation video. Sorry, I need the energy. And then we'll do questions right after this. So, Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is having a pretty good time right now in terms of people actually watching it. And every week, I pick a different streaming service and give you cool recommendations to watch from it. Since you're already there watching Borat 2, which I'm sure you've probably already done, but if you haven't, it's still a fun movie. I thought I would give you other stuff to watch on there. Obviously, I'm going to recommend Borat subsequent comedy film. It's pretty good, and it's a lot of fun, so you should check that out there. As well as they have things like Terminator Dark Fate, which I think is a pretty good Terminator movie. It's like the third best one. So, it is also semi-political, I guess, in some ways. And in a fun way, actually. But I thought it was a good follow-up to the Terminator films. I was actually thinking of that. Okay, so this is one. I kind of pick out one that I am curious about that they have. I didn't realize they have Gemini Man. I missed that in theaters. I'm a little curious to see that. Maybe I will check that out on Amazon Prime. They have a lot of Addams Family. They have the 2 live-action movies, the original from the 90s, or as much as that's an original, Addams Family Values, and the animated Addams Family. So if you're in an Addams Family mood, they have all 3 of those. I also saw a documentary on Amazon Prime called The Perfect Bid, The Contestant Who Knew Too Much. It's a great documentary for like folding laundry in front of and stuff, which is what I did with it. It's basically about this guy who gets obsessed with The Price is Right, comes up with like a price list. He starts up writing down, because they repeat so many prizes, like what the prices could be and all that, and he gets on the show and has a good time, but then he keeps going to the show to like enjoy, have a good time, or get picked when they relax a rule that you can come on again. And he ended up getting in a controversy toward the end, which this documentary, I'm going to be honest, does not cover that well. But it's still actually, I thought, was a good documentary. I thought the end they sort of messed up a bit, to be honest with you. I don't think they did a good job with that, but I think it is actually a pretty good one. They also have The Abyss, which is a great James Cameron sci-fi film, which is probably one of his weirder sci-fi films that didn't do well. It's probably like one of his only flops, really. I've probably recommended The Vast of Night before, but it is definitely one of the best movies of the year. And if you're going to be on Amazon Prime, it is definitely something you should absolutely check out. I know I was a little harsh to it in my review, but it is actually a really cool movie. Dora the Explorer, the movie, or Dora and the Lost City of Gold, is on there. That's a fun family film. I think we need to do that at some point. My family needs to do that. I probably also have recommended Fleabag, but it is probably the best show Amazon Prime has ever produced. As well as The Man Who Fell to Earth, which is David Bowie's kind of big acting debut. It is a weird, crazy sci-fi film, and it's worth watching. They also have Orlando, if you're into kind of trans cinema or queer cinema. I think it is a great entry. It stars Tilda Swinton. I think that's how most people knew Tilda Swinton. I'm not sure. It's basically about a man who is eternal, and he eventually changes from a man to a woman midway through the movie. It's an interesting film, trust me. It is really worth it if you're into that sort of if you're into kind of early trans representation in cinema. It is a great movie to check out. There's the Jabberwocky, which was made by several of the Monty Python guys, which is also pretty good. I haven't watched it in a couple years, but I remember kind of liking it. And I have 2 more. Maximum Overdrive, which is a ridiculous film that Stephen King directed with music by AC/DC. Do I need to say more? And I wasn't the biggest fan of Dope, but I know a lot of people are. And if you've ever wanted to see it, Dope is on Amazon Prime. All right. Okay, I think now I'm going to do... I have 3 Patreon questions. I think I'm going to try to end around 12:15, maybe 12:10. And yeah, that's my plan. I will try to get to as many questions as I can, but I'm going to answer these 3 Patreon questions. They're kind of... 2 of them are long. One is from Austin. Hey Austin, how's it going? It says, question, sorry for being so late, but for my final class essay for my American film and television class, our question is, discuss your favorite American TV or film drama in terms of its relationship to realism and melodrama. Describe the work's formal characters and consider how its form affects its meaning. Consider how its form influence represents its social and power relations. I'm thinking of doing it on The Boys, but want to know if you had any good suggestions. Wow, that's a big one. I would actually say The Social Network would be good. All in the Family, South Park, The Simpsons. But I think you should do the thing that you have those feelings about and you can write about. If you're ever doing a film essay and you have a choice, pick the thing that you know you can talk about for 20 minutes. Or you just have too many ideas about. It's so much easier when you give a shit about what you're writing about, especially with movies and TV. So I would say you should do The Boys because it seems like you picked it and you have passion about that. If you have passion about it, you should pick that. If you're writing a film essay and you're like, what should I do? I want to seem smart. Fuck that. Don't seem smart. Don't think about being smart. Think about what you can write about. If you can write a million essays about Ghostbusters, then please do that. Expand your cinematic mind, sure. But when you're trying to write something for a class or for an assignment, show your personalities through the things you like. And I think if you like The Boys, then you're doing it correctly. Whoa, here we go. Shout out to female Muppeteers Stephanie DeBrazio, Prairie Dawn, Jennifer Barnhart, Zoe, Leslie Carna Rudolph, Abby, Pam Archino Grunjgita. Oh man, I feel like Rand's gonna hate me for this. Carmen Asbar for Rosita. Oh, Rosita's awesome. And Alice Deanan and Julianne Bouchard. I think those are all, yeah, but those are all Sesame Street, which Disney doesn't know. I didn't mention those because of Sesame Street. But shout out to those. Thank you, Ryan. I'm sorry I butchered all of that, I'm sure. Cheers to you, though. Thank you very much for the super chat, sir. My next Patreon question is from Male Tears. Yo, Jim, how fucking lit is the movie they'll make about this election gonna be? Who do you want to play all the key players? I don't know how they're ever gonna capture the insanity of this reality. I don't want them to make a movie about this. I really don't for a long time. Like 20 years later, I'll be interested. But right now, I think it'll suck so bad. It'll be terrible. Like, I just think it'll be the worst fucking thing in the world if they made a movie of this in like 4 years. Like, wait 15 to 20. Anything before that is a mistake. Seriously. I think whoever it's going to be, like, I wouldn't mind if Robert Altman was reincarnated. That would be great. Can they get Robert Altman? Can Robert Altman be raised from the dead? Then I'd be into it. Sinram, who I don't know is still here, but brings this up. You know what? I missed... See, this is the problem with doing 2 weeks. You kind of miss stuff or miss things that are actually on your script because you're stupid. But Sinram says, Ray Fisher has given more details about the mistreatment he and others suffered while making Justice League. Among the perpetrators of this mistreatment, Ryan, I'll get your super chat, don't worry, is director Joss Whedon. Of this mistreatment is director Joss Whedon. As a big-time fan of Whedon, I'm distressed by this. I don't want his career to suddenly end, but I also believe this type of behavior should not be tolerated by anyone. At first, I didn't think Ray Fisher's allegations were credible, which is true. He didn't really give a lot of details, and it was a little iffy. Now I'm less certain since Fisher pointed out that it would be useless for him to make false accusations that could be disproved easily. If Whedon truly did what Fisher says he did, how could he make amends? Would you ever want him to? I don't think Whedon could. Basically what he did is he asked for certain actors' skin color to be lightened in the movie, which is pretty offensive. I don't think that Whedon... I think Whedon could try to do a public apology, which he hasn't. It's been a bit since this came out. I think Ray Fisher has sort of ruined a bit of his career, but it's sort of come back because this is a pretty nasty thing. You're like, oh, that is pretty fucked up. So I'm not sure what's going to happen to Ray Fisher necessarily, but I think Joss Whedon should try to make amends, but the fact that he has been fairly silent about all this is telling to me. I think it might sort of be the end for him. I do think that's unfortunate because I have enjoyed some of his stuff, and I think we all have because of the Avengers and so forth, but we'll see about all that. Hold on. Let's get Ryan's other super chat. Grunjita is the female Grouch. Grouchita. Okay, and Julia Bouchard is the one mentioned in the article. Okay, that's true. Who was not getting paid enough, which is not cool. Thank you, Ryan. All right, so let's get other... Thank you very much for the super chat. Cheers to you, sir. Okay. M Blood T question: can I recommend Prime next time? Maybe. The Wessonator favorite Trials Zone episode. Maybe the Terror at 50,000 feet. Probably. Paige Howard, is it normal or pure chaos to pour milk first or pour the cereal last into the... I usually don't like milk that much in certain cereals. I don't think it matters. I would say you pour the cereal first. I think it matters to some people. Is there... there's questions above this. I'm sorry. Question: who is more unstoppable, the Grimace or the Count? The Count. You can't stop the Count. Question: what do you think happened to the Amazon Emily the Strange film? It was announced in December 2016. We haven't heard anything from it since. I don't know. That's a good question. I'd consider that they probably do it. I'm assuming because it's animated. That's a long time. I don't know. That's interesting. You should look into that, Cornbread. I'm curious about that, actually. Jacob Shelter, ever considered doing every Adventures of Tintin vid? Love the 1991 cartoon. It deserves a revival. I don't know if I do every Tintin cartoon vid, but that is a good cartoon. Thoughts on the new Mando? I like the new episodes. It was interesting. The new one was directed by the director of Ant-Man. I like them both quite a bit. I think the first episode maybe I liked more than the second, but they're both good kind of Western episodes of the week. Major Mech is out. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get as many questions the next 5 minutes. Since DC Universe is rebranding as digital comics app, do you think Bloomberg's Boomerang streaming service will be axed, or will AT&T keep it around? It will be axed. Don't worry, it will. I'm sorry. Thoughts on Baby Shark becoming the most viewed video on YouTube ever? I think that makes sense because I know kids who watch that 3 times a day, and I don't think anyone, including Mr. Beast, makes videos that little kids watch as much as Baby Shark. How would you pitch a Thanksgiving film? I would say, hey, Thanksgiving, lots of people do it. What if we had some Thanksgiving when people stab each other and stuff? They can watch it every year. Yeah, maybe that's... Sorry. Cornbread, why are you such a noob and calling the foundling Baby Yoda? That's true. I didn't call it I should have called it... Well, Izzy said the child, so maybe I should have came at her and said, it's not the child, it's the foundling. Everyone calls it Baby Yoda. It's cooler to call it Baby Yoda. What's your favorite bad mystery? America. Did you and Ian ever watch any Kevin Smith films together? I know we watched Clerks 2. I think we watched all the USQs at some point, but I know we watched Clerks 2 and both didn't like it. I think I liked it. He might have liked it more than me. What are your plans for the Cats 2019 anniversary? I'll probably watch it again. Favorite Quentin Tarantino film from the San Floga? Sorry if I'm not saying everyone's name. Probably Pulp Fiction. I mean, it is really good. Zane Powers, thoughts on the Snyder Cut trailer getting taken off YouTube for the music? It's apparently a rights issue. It's nothing more than that. Warner said they will fix it, but it's YouTube B like YouTube B. Bruce Parker, what would your impression be when we get the thrill of nitpicking Linkara sound like? No, just we have to do. I guess something like, I don't have a good one. Sorry. Zane Powers, how come Leslie Knope likes Joe Biden so much on Parks and Rec? She just likes government in general, so I think that's probably why. Thoughts on the creator of Over Garden Wall making a new spiritual successor series? I'm into it if he does it. I sort of didn't. I kept trying to look up more things about that, and I didn't really find anything. I didn't really talk about it because I didn't feel like I had enough info, really. I think it could be interesting. I know he's doing more songs that were cut and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind something, but I kind of want him to do something else creatively. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. What about Spielberg? I don't know what that was a reference to. What's better, House or 24? I watch more House than 24, so I'm just going to say House, but that means nothing because I don't know 24 very well. Unless that's what's better, House or the number 24. And I would much rather live in a house than an abstract number. Zane Powers, thoughts on Michael Bay remaking the Danish action thriller Ambulance? I think that's lame. That's what I think, even though I don't know that. I think I have seen that. I don't know. Let's do a couple more. How does Michael Pence die when Creech throws Trump's head at him? He just dies. It's not explained. It just because Creech uses Creech powers. Let's Pig Pancake. What movie or series would you want to watch on Disney Plus that isn't already on a streaming service? I really wish they had next Avengers Heroes of Tomorrow. I wish they had. I wish they had more Mickey Mouse shorts. I think that's my biggest thing there. Jacob Shelter, should I watch the 90s Animaniacs or the reboot? I would watch the 90s Animaniacs. It's still really good, as I remember from the 90s. What best kind of pizza? Kind I'm eating. Sorry. Probably pepperoni. I don't know. Frank Clark, I'm watching French films for my class. What are your thinks on Pepe Le Moco? I don't know that one. I'm sorry. But you should see Band of Outsiders and Breathless. Those are great. As well as Wonder Blows. Maybe you've already seen. Will Donald Trump be cut from Home Alone 2? Probably not, unfortunately. Also, it's my dad's birthday. Happy birthday to Austin's Happy birthday to Austin's dad. Happy birthday to you. All right. That is it for tonight. Sorry for the shorter show. It's a crazy night, and I'm a little tired. And there wasn't enough news to fill a whole show, even though I fucked up that Muppets thing. I want to thank everyone for being here, for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I messed up so many people's names. who are puppeteers. But yeah. Anyway, check out all the videos. There's so many I can't really remember. I think there'll be the Helluva Boss review will be tomorrow, I'm hoping. And then Amazon Prime, and then other things. But check out the Primal review, which unfortunately came out right before the Joe Biden thing, so I don't think a lot of people saw it. As well as the Mando Nanza thing, the month video, which I put out during the election for a counter thing, and the Pluto review. I think that's everything I put out this week. Thank you all for being here. Take care of each other. Please wear a mask. I know everyone's happy, but I think it is time. It's good to not get coronavirus. It's a thing. I don't really want people to get sick right now. So please take care of yourself. Be good to each other. And I will be back next Saturday, and we will have probably better movie news to talk about then. And have a good night. And subscribe if you would like to. Talk to you next time. Peace.